Hey guys, always Dizzy here. I'm ready in this video for the round 4 from the 2024 New Year's Open. Yeah, if you've been following along, I lost my first 2 games and then I won my third round. And round 4 was the second day of the event. There's 3 rounds per day, so second day was rounds 4, 5, and 6, and then another 3 rounds on the third day. So this is round 4. I am probably going to include some other videos as well in between and interspersed between these video game recaps. And so I probably have mentioned already that on the first day I only had 2 hours sleep. On the second day, I think I only had 3 or 4 hours sleep. So it was a little bit better, but I was also feeling a little sick. Like I was having a sore throat and just not getting a lot of sleep. So a bit more sleep than the previous night, but still not nearly enough. My 4th round opponent was Andrew Yin. If I had to guess his age, I would say maybe 8 or 9, maybe 9 years old. It's hard to. I'm not great at guessing ages. He showed up to the game a couple minutes late, and his brother, I believe it was his brother, was actually playing on the next board over because they both arrived a couple minutes late at the same time. They both have the same last name, so I'm assuming they're brothers. I don't like to. Like, with my channel slowly growing larger, I mean, it's still a tiny little chess channel, but with it growing larger and more locals within my province starting to subscribe and watch the videos, I have to be a little bit more careful in how I, well, basically with what I say. And so my opponent was fairly young, and I'm not trying to, I don't want to spread rumors or trash talk or anything, but I was a bit distracted this game because my opponent, and he didn't mean to cause any issues or harm, but he was a bit distracting. So the table was, to begin with, already a little bit wobbly, I think, and he kept like standing up or leaning forward on a chair and like shaking the table with his body, like out of, he's just kind of nervous and thinking, but it was very distracting. In fact, when I actually had trouble writing on the score sheet because it was like an earthquake, like the whole thing was shaking. He just kept like shaking the table. I didn't say anything because, he's young and, I just didn't want to say anything, but it was certainly distracting, very distracting. And also, he was doing things like he was making a paper airplane out of his score sheet, which I've seen kids do before, things like that. And but mainly it was the shaking and the constant like moving around and shaking the table. It's very distracting for me. I don't think it didn't affect the game at all. Like, it wasn't like ridiculous. If it was ridiculously distracting, then I would say something or call the arbiter over. But it's just something that you have to kind of deal with when playing kids some of the time. Most of the kids are pretty good, but sometimes you get this nervous energy from some kids. Hang on a second. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Just reading my notes here. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at this game. I have to do something in 50 minutes. So hopefully, and this game is kind of long. So, hopefully, basically I got to finish this within at least 50 minutes because I have to do something exactly at that time. Okay, so my opponent opened with e4, and I think up to now we've only seen e4 in all 4 games. I responded with the Sicilian. And he played knight c3, which is the closed Sicilian and not so common, but not not super uncommon either. Um, but slightly surprising. Although, didn't I have this game? Oh no, no. Up to now, I didn't have this yet. Okay, so I responded with D6, and indeed, he plays a Grand Prix. So yeah, I would argue. Well, okay, in my repertoire, this is probably the most dangerous opening that I face as black. At least the way that I play it, that I respond to it. I can't really think of another opening that is as dangerous as this. There's probably some other ones as well, but this is the most frequent opening that I play against that is the most dangerous. Now, I played against the Grand Prix against, I think his name is Joshua Emu. I played against, it was either the last tournament or the tournament before the last tournament. And I ended up drawing him. He was an 1800. But yeah, this is just really, really sharp, and just white has, if you don't play accurately as black, you just get slaughtered. You just get completely slaughtered. I would argue that it's more dangerous than playing against the Smith Mora. Because the Smith Mora, the attacks are more direct. They're more transparent. But here they're not. Anyways, as much as I fear it, I kind of enjoy playing against it these days because black is better the way I play it. Black is better as long as I don't screw up. As long as I remember my theory, black is a little bit better. So I played G6, Knight F3, Bishop G7, Bishop C4. This is all typical Grand Prix setup for both sides. Knight C6. So just want to deal with D4 possibilities from white. Castles, E6. I think Knight F6 is the other move here, and it might even be the main line. But it's just not the setup that I employ. I employ basically a computer setup. That's basically all. My whole repertoire is computer setup, which is a bit more ambitious, but also potentially more dangerous for black. He plays D3. And then this is the reason behind E6. So I tucked the knight on E7 instead of F6. There's reasons for that. One of them is that this knight can later help protect myself by going to G6. But there's other reasons as well. He plays Queen E1, which if you're not familiar with these types of positions, may seem super strange. But it's pretty simple. The queen basically wants to help in the attack. Go to H4. This bishop can maybe go to H6 in some positions. The knight can go to G5, and white prepares an F5 push. Basically, white is ready to roll here and attack. I castled, and yeah, here we see Queen H4. I think the old main line was actually F5 when you really need to know your theory, but these moves often transpose. Not always, though. But he played Queen H4. And I responded with D5. So we're both playing quickly here because this is all theory. Actually, I guess I played much quicker than him. Oh, no, only because he showed up a couple minutes late. So yeah, we're whipping out the moves here. So he backs off to protect his bishop. And I played Knight D4. Equally good, as I remember it, is Knight A5. Which is as good, might even be like 10 centibonds better. But I find Knight D4, I find the ideas behind it easier to play. And I just like having the knight more centralized than on the A file. But both moves are equally fine. my opponent played f5, which was a bit unusual. Almost everybody will play knight takes d4 here, which I don't know if that's the best. It might be the best move, but yeah, almost everybody takes the knight there. So f5, I'm not even sure if I've seen this before, and I did spend 6 minutes on my next move in response. So yeah, 'cause that kind of caught me off guard there. I didn't want to take the knight on f3 because I thought I'm just helping accelerate my opponent's attack. After rook takes f3, the rook can go to like h3 or g3, and yeah, I just think I'm helping white out there. So I did not want to take the knight, and I don't think I can take the bishop because of... Oh, possibly I could have, because if f6, I can then go bishop f6. But my knight was well placed, and yeah, I didn't want to take that bishop. So I went g takes f5, which is a pretty thematic move in these positions. Taking with the e pawn, I think we're going to lose the d5 pawn. Just seems too weak to me. So I don't know if maybe first e takes f5. Yeah, and then my d pawn seems to be in trouble there. I mean, I guess I could take the bishop. So I don't know. Maybe I could have done with the e pawn as well. But I guess another downside to taking with the e pawn is my knight can't help defend by going to g6. And then this knight starts to get a bit misplaced, because what is it doing here? Yeah. So I went g takes f5, and my opponent played bishop g5, which was a little strange because it almost just loses the tempo due to what I responded with, which was f6. But that might have been his intention. That might have been his plan. Maybe he felt that my pawn was worse on f6 than it was on f7, because he immediately played bishop h6 here. But this is actually nice for me because I help control, with my pawn on f6, I help control e5. G5 can now not be covered by his knight, and yeah, it's actually a little bit, it provides a bit more protection for me. So he probably should have just played bishop h6 immediately. After bishop h6, I made an inaccuracy here. So I played knight g6 because I mean, it's not the worst move, but yeah, it is an inaccuracy. So I just thought I'm improving my knight. I'm attacking his queen, but I missed a better move. You can pause the video if you want to try to find it here. So what the engine suggested was, and it's kind of neat, but f takes e4. And the idea here is basically just a clearance move. We are opening up the f5 square for one of the knights. I think either knight is fine to get to. So we're threatening knight f5. And first of all, white has to deal with this attack on his knight here. If he takes my bishop on g7, probably I can still just move one of the knights over. And after he moves the queen somewhere, I'm not sure if I'm playing this the best way possible. If he takes on e4, I'm just going to open up the engine. I'm curious. This is kind of a... Yeah, well, it says -4. Well, -3.5. There's e5, there's c4. Sorry, there's e5, there's c4, there's h5. Everything is just really good here for black. So that's just one line. Let me turn off the engine. And there is, where was I here? Oh yeah, if f takes e4, if he takes back on e4, I think, first of all, we might be able to throw in c4, but even if we don't, probably again, we just take to open up the f5 square for our knights. And again, we can just move one of the knights. And he's, we have two attackers on h6, so he's kind of screwed here. So I missed that idea. It's not simple to see, I don't think. So it would have been nice if I had played it, but I played knight g6. He responded with queen h5. And I think I thought here, so I thought for a bit on my next move. I thought for 7 minutes on my next move, which is a long time considering that this is just a 50 plus 10 time control. In the game, I think I didn't really know how to proceed. If I played something like f takes e4, I just felt like my position is kind of collapsing here. Like it seems like my center is just kind of falling apart. I'm not even sure how I would continue here. And I can't really take, well, I guess maybe I could take here. But you see what I mean? Like this does not look great to my eyes. And then his white's rooks come in. And I don't know, it didn't look fantastic for me. So I ended up taking the bishop. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I'm going to have to edit these two videos together because I actually had to stop and do something. So I'm back recording this about 8 hours later. About 8 hours later. So I believe I left off at knight takes b3. And so let's see, let's move 14. And so after knight takes b3, which I had spent 7 minutes on, I was down to 26 minutes, and my opponent was at 34 minutes here. He took with the a pawn, and I played d4. So my idea just to kick out the knight, and then I think I just wanted to resolve I'm trying to remember. This is a week ago now that I played this. So I think I wanted to kick out his queen on h5. And so I wanted to play queen e8 to try to get that going. But then that allows moves like e takes d5, and then his knight will be on d5 here. So I wanted to essentially just kick out his knight and decentralize it a little bit. So this is what happened. And then I played queen e8. And he would play knight g3. And I'm just checking how long I thought on this, because I had a plan here. So here, positionally, this looked like a good opportunity for me to once again attack his knight with f4, which will have a lot of, well, let me just show you what happened. So that is what happened. So f4, his knight has to retreat, and I played e5. And this seemed to be a really good positional gain for me, because solidify my pawns. My pawns are suddenly pretty awesome. They're all in dark squares, so my light square bishop is very happy now. And my dark square bishop is fulfilling the role of defender on g7. And yeah, his knights are kind of at bay now. So at this point, I was feeling very, very pleased with my position. I was able to defend against this very aggressive opening, and I'm actually up a pawn. I actually have all of my original pawns. And wait, yeah, so yeah, I'm up a pawn. I actually have the bishop pair, and so I was pretty pleased here. My opponent traded bishops and then played knight d2, which does a couple things. The knight eyes c4, and it also allows a clearance of the f3 square, so white can play knight f3 now and look to bring in the rook. Oh, sorry, I mean rook f3 and then look to bring in the rook. I played knight e7, looking to trade queens. I want the queens off the board because I am up a pawn, so I would be happy to just eliminate really any additional threats that white could come up with. He does trade, and then he plays knight c4. What move are we on here? 22. Yeah, so hopefully it's not annoying that I keep spitting out the how much time was left, but I think time is a really important factor. So my opponent was down to 23 minutes, and I had 17 minutes here. I think especially with only a 10-second increment, the time matters even more than normal. I played bishop g4. So my original intention behind this was, well, it was actually to take the knight because I am up a pawn. So even though this is my good bishop, I felt like I might just want to trade off the bishop. I also just wanted to connect my rooks and also just see what white does, because he can't really move the knight anywhere good. He can only put it on c1, so he has to actively defend it. So he played king f2, and I played rook d8 because there were some things, some annoyances like knight e6 or knight d6 is a real threat here, forking my pawn on b7 and my rook on e8. I could defend it with rook b8, but that is so passive. But maybe I actually could have even played that had that happened. But yeah, it just seems like unnecessary to even allow any type of play. Oh no, sorry, there's another threat here too. Oh wait, no, maybe not. Yeah, but I don't know. That kind of concerned me, so I played rook d8. My opponent attacks my bishop. And then, so here I considered taking on e2 as I was originally thinking about. And I was on the fence about it. Like I could have done a coin flip on if I had taken or not. But then I ultimately decided against doing that because despite the position being pretty closed here, I thought that, well, my bishop is a good bishop. Like my pawns are all mostly on dark squares here. Well, in the center they are. So my bishop is really quite good. And at the same time, I wasn't sure how easily it would be for me to convert this being only a pawn up, because there's two rooks and a knight for each side here. So I think it would have been I thought it would have taken more effort to convert this with if I traded on e2. So I ended up playing bishop e6, which I believe the computer deemed as an inaccuracy, and I think it did prefer just for me to take the knight. Yeah, with the position being closed, it may not have really made sense to keep the bishop because what progress am I going to make? Sorry, losing my voice. I've been talking a lot today, so. But it's not like it's not a huge deal. Like if I turn on the engine here, which I will. So. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. No, it's about a 30 centipond difference. Yeah, so it's not a big deal. Not a huge deal here. But taking would have been better. Yeah, so it's a 30 centipond difference between bishop e6 and bishop takes e2. Let me take a sip of water before I sound like a frog. My opponent played rook a4, which was pretty strange. And here I'm down to 15 minutes. He has 20 minutes. So rook a4. At this point, even before looking at the fork, just looking at this position, again, like much hasn't changed since I last gave an eval, but I felt I was winning. I mean, just being up a pawn was enough for me to feel that way. And then once he played rook a4, I'm not sure why he played that. It's a really weird move to play. So, and even now, like a week later, I don't know why he even now, a week later, I'm unsure if that was intentional or not. I don't know if that was a mistake or not. I played b5, not immediately. I did give it a bit of a think, but felt it was the best move. And he really only has one possible move that doesn't lose on the spot, which is rook a6, counterattacking my bishop, which is on Prix on e6. And I didn't see rook e6 when I played b5. So I was like, oh, damn. I played bishop c8, attacking his rook while his knight is still under attack. And then he played rook d6, and I hadn't seen this either. Actually, I lie. I did see rook a6 here, but I didn't see rook d6. So I thought I was just winning here. And, around these moves too, I was getting complacent. I was kind of like looking around, stretching a little bit, and like I thought he's going to resign here. So when I played bishop c8, I just thought it was over, and I didn't see that he had this rook d6. And even here, I was too complacent. Just checking the times here. 27. Yeah, I mean, I had time. I had 12 minutes. My opponent had 19, but I got a little bit too excited and too complacent, to use that word again. And I felt that his rook could get trapped. So I had ideas of knight c8, which doesn't even trap the rook. So I was just sloppy. I was just getting sloppy here. So I thought, like, because he can just exit this way. Yeah, I was not careful. So I played bishop d7, but the problem is, even if I played knight c8, he can just escape via rook a6. So I think better was bishop b7. Oh, but so the problem with that, though, is then he can trade off rooks, but at least I'm still up a pawn here. But the problem is I just thought I was straight up winning. Like, first of all, he walks into this fork, which I still don't know if it was intentional or not. Then he somehow, like, he gets right in here, and somehow he survives. Yeah, so he responded with knight a5. And even here, like, I thought, okay, I might have played a little bit inaccurately, but I still thought I was better. I played knight c8. He plays rook a6, the only move to save it. Well, I thought he might have gone to d5, but then I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I thought maybe I bring in the king, and then we get this going, something like that. Should win the rook eventually. I played knight b6 because... Oh yeah, I think just to threaten bishop c8, I believe. He plays knight b7, which I didn't take seriously enough. I played rook dc8, defending c5. Rook fa1. And then I made an inaccuracy. I played rook c7. I didn't see my opponent's response. I was also down to 7 minutes at this point. But yeah, I was playing sloppy. There's no question about it. So I didn't see knight d6. And but I might have still been fine there. But I didn't see it. Oh yeah, because there's a threat of rook takes b6. So white, like I thought I was completely winning a few moves ago, and now I am. It's kind of awkward. And then I played rook c6, and I was just really sloppy at this point. I simply didn't see that my pawn would be under attack. But then I'm not sure what I should have done. I guess I had to play knight c8. But yeah, I probably had to play knight c8. So, yep, I just dropped b5. Was not happy about it. And then at this point, I'm feeling like, okay, I screwed up. Now it's equal material. Now I'm basically kind of playing for a draw now. Or at least I didn't think I was winning anymore, which I don't believe I am. I play knight c8 now, defending a7. He took on c6. And then he plays knight c7. I play rook b8. And he plays knight e6 check. And the moves they're coming to white. That knight is just so tricky. And yeah, another reason why it would have been a little bit better earlier to take on e2, just because these knights are so good in closed positions. I played king g6. He took on c5. Now I'm down a pawn, I believe. Yeah, I'm down a pawn now. I played rook b5. Knight e6. And at this point, I'm down to 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm 3 minutes. My opponent has 14. So, yeah, I'm very low on the clock. I am still recording moves. Even I did this for your guys' sake. I think I actually record moves till the end of the game, even because, as I said in an earlier video, I believe when you don't have at least 30 seconds, then you're not required to write down your moves anymore. So I didn't have to write down the moves, but I did for content. Okay, so at this point, I didn't really know what to do. I played kind of a weird move. I do think I had a reason for it, though. So I can't really move my king anywhere. If I go to f7, then knight d8 forks my bishop and my king. And if I go, well, going to h6 just felt a little strange because then my king only has 2 squares to go to. Actually, I guess it does have 3, but it felt like a strange move. So I played h6 just to give my king some shelter. But I was low on time. I was basically just waiting to see what my opponent does. Then my opponent made a great move. I mean, he's up a pawn now, so it's hard. I mean, moves will come easier for white. But still, I mean, my opponent was pretty young, and this is probably the best move he could have made in the position. He played g3. So, opening up the g file to attack my king. This is the idea. So, he's going to abandon the a file and try to play on the g file. It was a great move. I took. I don't really have too many options. And he took with the knight. And taking with the knight is just completely winning. Had he taken with the king, I believe it's actually equal here. And I think it's just because white's attack is now a little bit too slow, because he's going to have to move the king again to get his rook in. But with knight, But with knight takes g3, he's threatening knight f5 and to come in and to leave the g file open for his rook. I played king h7. He played knight f5. And you can just see, like, yeah, again, my opponent just a kid. And yeah, wow, he's just crushing it now. Like rook g1, and this is nearly mate. And then he can do it. That'll be mate right there. At this point, yeah, I was down to 2 minutes. I played rook b7. Didn't have really too much time to think, but I just thought, try to control. This seemed like the most defensive move I could make. He plays rook g1. I played h5. I was trying to just get another square for my king. If this knight ever moved somewhere, I have one more square for my king. That was my only thinking here, basically. He plays knight h4. Played bishop b5. Seemed like a random move, and it probably was for the most part. Yeah, at this point, I was down to 39 seconds. So I'm basically just making legal moves at this point. But there, I think I was also trying to avoid him trading material here. Something that might have scared me. And I think I probably had some other weird idea too of then maybe moving my a pawn and then bringing my knight to c6 and then trying to defend this way. I don't know. But yeah, I was down to 39 seconds at this point. He plays knight g6. I actually thought he had a mate around here, but after the game I looked at it with the engine and there wasn't. But I thought I saw a mate like here, but it's not. Yeah, he played knight g6. I played knight d6. Just want to give an update on the clocks. Yeah, I was down to 18 seconds. He had 3 minutes. So his time is starting to tick down here too. He played knight gf8 check, king h8. He plays rook g6. And yeah, so he's down to 1 minute. I'm at 17 seconds. So I'm getting 10 seconds increment every move. I played bishop e8. Rook takes f6. Rook f7. Rook takes f7. Bishop takes f7. And then at here, since I was down to like 15 seconds, I stopped recording. Like enough is enough. So I just started playing without recording. So I don't have the rest of the game. Play went on a little bit longer. And what ended up happening was, well, I lost the game. I ended up just losing more pawns than, well, I'm already down, what, 2 pawns? Yeah, I'm already down 2 pawns. And I ended up losing more. And then it was just, yeah, I just resigned. It was hopeless. So, yeah, I lost round 4. And so a pretty bad tournament, to say the least, for me so far. I lost the first 2 games, won the third, and then lost the fourth. So I was 1 out of 4 after this round. And the losses were not fantastic. I mean, because here I lost to a 1300. And then round 2, I beat... Oh, it's not there. Let me check my thing. Round 2, I beat... No, wait, sorry. Round 2, I lost to a 1400. So I lost to a 1300 round 4, a 1400 round 2, and then round 3, the player that I beat was was only 1,200. So I've already lost a fair bit of rating at this point. And I was one of the lowest rated, or one of the lowest on the scoreboard after round 4. So yeah, not pleased. At the same time, the beautiful thing of a 9-round tournament is I still have chances to get back in. You can have a terrible first half and maybe have chances to do better later. Even if I lost the next 2 rounds, I would still have 3 more rounds to try to get back into the game, right? But anyways, yeah, that's round 4 for you. I'm 1 out of 4 at this point. Stay tuned for round 5. Will my losing streak continue? Will I bounce back? We will see. Well, I know the result, but you guys don't. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I'll have round 5 for you up probably in 2 days from now. Thanks for watching.